All right, Scott, thanks for sending this over. And yeah, so the positioning on this is way better than the last video. So what I really love about this is that you're doing such a good job of keeping your spine much more neutral. Like look at the spine position here. You can just see how much better that looks if you remember from the other video, right? And we'll look at the overhead position as well, but remember from the other video, we had this big hyperextended position, right? Now you're flat. So now the challenge becomes, can you push that bar up, right, over your head without manipulating spine position, right? For the most part, we want to stack the bones. We want to keep those bones stacked up over the top of each other as we push the heavy stuff over our head, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at the first push here, first rep. The bar is staying it's staying on line, which is amazing, really good. Let's look at spine position. Love it. I really do love it. It looks really good. Okay. So now that we've got the spine position looks good, we've got this nice, the bones are stacked from the shoulders all the way down to the heels. The bar, and let me just do this like that. Okay. So the bar is no doubt over the middle of the foot, which is awesome, right? So the bar is on a great line. Here's the one thing that I would want to change just a little, and you probably know where I'm going with this already, just by looking at this, right? So we want to see shoulders. We want to see that angle open a little bit more so that we can draw a straight line from bar all the way down through the heel of the foot. So really the path of the bar is going to look something like this. Just like that. Okay. So you're still over middle of the foot. I mean, granted, when you're overhead, you're going to be a little bit more over the heel, but you're still over middle of foot for the most part, right? Sort of the back of the middle. And we've got the arms stacked up, right over the top of the torso. Because right now the arms are angled a little bit forward. If we put a whole bunch of weight on that bar, where are you going to give? Where is the system going to give? It's going to, it's going to push the arms down, right? Where that angle is going to close, right? So that's what we want to do now is we just want to, I call it opening the shoulders. Opening the shoulders just means like we want a full 180 spine to arm. We want this line to carry up. And that's probably a little bit far back. You know what I mean? And it's the same open shoulder position as if you were hanging on that bar. Like if we took this barbell out of your hand and I had you just walk forward and grab onto this pull-up bar right here and then lift your feet up, and if you were managing your spine position, right, hollow, like if you're maintaining good spine position, what would your shoulders do? Like they would have to open, right? Like they would have to open. So one of the things actually that you can do is you can actually, like I used to get people to hang from the bar first, from the pull-up bar first, just to get the shoulders to open up completely. And then we would do our presses, because hanging from the pull-up bar, and organizing the spine, which is one of the reasons we practice hollow body, is a great way to feel what it's like to get the shoulders open. And then we want to recreate that open shoulder position when you do your presses with the bar. Okay. So yeah, everything like you're close, man. You're super, super close. Here's one of the things that could potentially be going on here, and I don't know until you try again, and maybe even give me a little bit of feedback, is your shoulders could be really tight. So some guys, what I find is they just don't have full range of motion of the shoulder joint yet. And it could be a couple of things. It could be the ball and socket joint, right? But it could also be the positioning of the shoulder blade. And I know I mentioned the shoulder blade thing before, but if the shoulder blades are up a little bit higher on the rib cage instead of down in the back pockets, what that does is it pushes the whole system forward a little bit. And it expresses as arms out in front of you instead of arms right over the top of you. If you pull the shoulder blades down, a lot of times this whole system just comes back. Okay, hopefully that makes sense, because remember the shoulder ball and socket joint is attached to that shoulder blade. So the positioning of the shoulder blade on the rib cage really dictates what is one of the things that really dictates the positioning of the arm in space. Okay, the shoulder blade is such an integral part of this. It's called the shoulder girdle. So anyway, so that could be it. The other thing is it could be the ball and socket joint, right? So if the ball and socket joint, if there's some tightness through there, and based on what you had sent me not too long ago about talking about how your shoulders are, were locked up or whatever, you got some pre-existing condition or some old injury, it could just be in the ball and socket joint. And so what I want you to do is I want you to maintain spine position, right? So maintain neutral. And you can do this with the bar or even just without the bar. You can just do it with just your arms up in the air. But see if you can open the shoulder more. Like literally just pull the arms back and see if you can get the arms to line up with the torso. Okay? And it's a very active position. Like you really got to kind of fight for that spot to get it. But we want to train the shoulder girdle, the glenohumeral joint, the ball and socket joint, the shoulder blade. We want to train that whole system to be able to organize in a way where you get full range of motion of that shoulder, right? Because that would be full expression of open shoulder, and every human, I believe, needs to be able to have that range of motion, right? It's how we manipulate things over our head, and it's where we're able to find the strongest, most stable positions when we've got stuff over our head. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Like I think I'm kind of yabbering too much here, but there's another thing you can do, another little trick, and this is the easiest thing to do. So what you could do is lay on the floor. So lay on your back. Let's do it with a bent knee. So you just lay on, like imagine this is you, and imagine you're laying on the floor. Okay, you're going to go bent knee, at least initially. Oops, let me do this again. You're going to go bent knee, boom. Boom, feet are on the floor, head's here, right? And what you're going to do is you're going to take, here's the ball and socket joint right there. You're going to take your arm while keeping your back flat on the floor. Okay, so don't arch your back. Okay, and you've got a little bit of a touch cue when you're on the floor, right? You can organize the spine so your spine stays flat on the floor. Okay, and then you're going to bring your arms up and over your head. So you're going to hinge right at the ball and socket joint. Keep the arms straight and reach them up over your head. And as you keep your back flat, so you have to stay engaged in the center, right, to maintain neutral spine, reach your arms up overhead and see if you can get your arms or your hands to touch the floor. And lead with your thumbs. Okay, I'm going to draw a thumb. Boom, there's your thumb. So you're going to lead with your thumbs, hinge at the shoulder, and try to open up those shoulders and see if you can get the thumbs/hands all the way down to the floor. Okay, I hope that makes sense. It's a great test to see if you've got full range of motion in the shoulder joint. Okay, and if not, you can kind of like work that. Like when you're laying on your back, you can kind of like keep kind of managing the shoulder blade position. Like imagine, even though you're laying on the floor, trying to pull that shoulder blade down the back pockets and then open the shoulder a little bit more. Pull that shoulder blade down, open the shoulder a little bit more. And you might be surprised. You might start to fall into that position. And then, of course, we want to stand it up and we want to recreate that position. And then we want to stand up and recreate that position with weight. And then we want to develop strength once we have the position, right? Then we can develop the strength pretty significantly. So, all right, there you go.